Hey guys, welcome to the first in a series I'm going to call Freebie Fridays, when we have a look at what I can do with those free gifts that you get on the front of crafty magazines. This one's a Crafts Beautiful magazine. I'm just going to open up the pack and see what we've got in here. Pop-up box card kit. It's really nice. It comes with this separate little box with everything that you need to make at least 4 little pop-up box cards. I'm having a look at the magazine here, trying to see where the instructions are. Let's have a look. Using your free gift, turn to page 8. Free pop-up box card kit. So let's put that to one side for a minute and open up the box and see what we get. A little bit of a struggle opening it here. Ooh. That's really sticky, and that's really going to get annoying, so I'm just going to cut that sticky bit off. And let's see what we've got inside. So these are actually really nice quality papers, really quite heavy, sort of more like a thin cardstock than a paper, and they're all double-sided, same pattern on both sides. Very pretty. And then there's this template which you can use to create the shapes for your box card, and these foam pads, and then these are the die cut sheets. There are 4 altogether, and I ended up using all of them. There we are, so 4 die sheets to use up there. So I'm having another look at the instructions here, and they're not the most helpful, so I decided to have a bit of a go before I come back and show you how I did it. So here we are, I've made 3 now. I've been having a lovely time. This first one I made using 2 sheets of the card that come in the kit and a whole decoupage sheet and die cut sheet. This one I used a sheet of my own cardstock and just added panels. I love how these all fold up so they go flat into an envelope. Brilliant, really fun. So that's those 3, and I'm now sort of confident enough with the method that I'm happy to film how I did it and show you how it works. So I'm going to use a sheet of this sort of mustard coloured cardstock from my stash. Just push all this stuff out of the way. And I'm going to need the little template that came with the kit. Now this is brilliant because I can use this for years. This will last forever. I can make up one of these little box cards whenever I want to, using up some of the huge piles of paper I've already got. So I'm using a sharp pencil to trace around the template there. And then the template includes sort of slots for you to, where you need to score. And you could just do this against a telephone directory or something so that you get a good score mark. But I just found it easier to line up the slots on my scoreboard. But, you know, if you didn't have a scoreboard, you could easily just, as I say, do this on a telephone directory or something a little bit soft to give you that score mark. Now it's important that one of those horizontal score marks isn't scored. That will kind of make more sense in a minute. I'm doing my second piece here. And tracing around with a sharp pencil again. And then I'm going to line it up on the scoreboard. See, those horizontal lines that I've just scored there, on one of the pieces you need to not to only score one of those if you want the back of the box to be standing upright rather than all four sides flopping down. Honestly, it makes sense when you actually do it. So now I'm carefully cutting around, and now on the shorter piece, I'm cutting along the score line right down to that fold line that goes across the middle. So you can see there where you've got that crease right across the middle, I'm cutting right down to that point. And now I'm carefully making all the creases, giving them a little press with my paper folder. And I'm cutting off the little tab shapes there. And this is how the basic shape of the box goes together. And that's where you're folding the flaps back. So you can see where I've left that one upright, that will be the piece at the back of the box. So that's where you don't want that horizontal score line, if that makes sense. All of these others, I'm folding them back. So to stick the basic shape of the box together, what I found worked best was to use a combination. And you could just do it with PVA glue, I did on the first one. But by using some double-sided tape like this first, if I can get the backing off, and then adding some PVA glue, the PVA glue will make the join more durable, but the tape helps to keep it in place whilst it's drying. So I found a combination of the two worked really well for me. So here we are, I'm just lining them up carefully, pressing them into place, giving a little bit of a burnish with my paper folder. And there we are, that's my basic box. I'm just going to set that aside to dry while I work on the strips. Now this is where the magazine instructions didn't give you any idea at all how to add the strips. So I had to faff around a bit, but actually it was very straightforward and I was really pleased with the way I worked out in the end. So I'm cutting a piece here 3.5 inches wide. The box measures 2 3/4 inches across, so I'm just taking 3/8 of an inch on either side just to give me a little tab for attaching the strip to the inside of the box, because this is what we'll attach the acetate strips to. You'll see in a minute. So there we are. So from my 3.5 inch piece, by the time I've taken 3/8 of an inch off either side, I end up with 2 3/4 inches across, and I can cut that piece then into strips to fit perfectly inside the box. There we are, and I have to say the magazine instructions didn't give you much of a clue. They probably assume that everybody's made these pop-up boxes before, but I'd never done it, so it was all new to me. So I'm carefully, this is the method I found in the end worked really well. I'm carefully folding that tab back, and then I'm here I am with the next strip, and I'm just going to place that sort of a centimetre or so to the left of the first one, and then here's the third strip. I'm just making sure they all line up nicely together. I love getting PVA all over my fingers because I enjoy pulling it all off afterwards. So there we are, and that's the last strip gone in with about a centimetre or so. There we are. Hopefully you can see it's easier to see it than to try and explain it. Now I've flipped all of those back over towards the left there, and I'm pressing all of the tabs down, and that's really important. And now I'm going to put a little bit of glue on each of those tabs, So this is where they're going to attach to the opposite side of the box. And I love how this worked in the end. After faffing around for a couple of times, in the end I loved how this worked out. There we go, I'm pressing all them down, and now I'm going to fold the right side over the left side like that, making sure that all of those tabs sit down nicely. Give it a bit of a press. Just have a little look to make sure that they have actually all stuck down nicely, and you can see, hopefully, there. Well, that's just like magic. The first time that worked out, I was so pleased with myself. It's probably how everybody does it all the time. It's new to me. So now I've measured the size of the box, and I'm going to cut some panels from the pattern paper that came in the kit, just slightly smaller than the panels on the box. One of them I've left a little bit bigger. That's to fit that back flap on the box, which isn't folded back. The one where we didn't score the horizontal line. So you can see how the box is going to come together there. And this tab needs to fold inside. And I found that I just had to trim a little bit off of that flap. Probably because I'd stuck those strips a bit too close to the edge. So again, I'm going to use the double-sided tape trick. Take off the backing tape, add some PVA glue as well. So the PVA glue is giving it strength, but the tape is helping to sort of grab it quickly and hold it together while the glue dries. So there we are. Just put that box together. Make sure it's all nicely lined up. Just fudging about a bit here. And finally, there we are, perfect. Give it a good burnish with my paper folder. And there we are, that's the basic structure of the box. And I can use that template and any cardstock to create this box over and over again. I think it's brilliant. You could have all sorts of things bursting out of these boxes. And this kit was all butterflies and flowers, but you could have little characters, couldn't you? Or balloons, or I don't know, all sorts of possibilities. So now those panels of pattern paper that I've cut are just fit nicely onto the flaps of the box. And now here's the acetate, which I didn't notice when I first unpacked the kit. I thought the acetate was the backing for the foam dots, but actually it's to create these sort of nearly invisible pieces to stick decorative elements onto. So I cut about a sort of, I don't know, quarter inch strips. I've used that strong clear glue to just stick them up. So I've cut 2 strips for each of the paper strips inside the box. 2 acetate pieces to go on each of the paper strips inside the box. And I made sure they were all sort of different lengths. I put the higher ones at the back. So now I've got the last die cut sheet here, and I used up a whole die cut sheet on each card because I just thought it was lovely to have a really generous, huge bunch of pretty things bursting out of the box. No point being frugal. I want to use this stuff up and enjoy it. So there we are. This one says thanks a bunch, so I've put that on one of the left hand flap there. That butterfly's going on to the first acetate strip there. So I sort of chose one or two decorative pieces for each flap on the box, and then just dotted the flowers and butterflies about. Took a little while deciding where things go. That always takes me ages and ages. It's the same when I'm scrapbooking. It takes me ages to decide where everything goes. I put some of the pieces on foam pads, like that little tag, to make them stand out a bit more. Oh, I'm Nearly finished now. Nearly used up all those pieces. Didn't want to have anything left over really. So there we are. Is that the last piece? I think that's the last piece. There we are. So that's it. I put my glue away. Another empty die cut sheet. So that's all I've got left. A couple of bits for my own stash and 2 sheets of the pattern paper that came in the kit and a couple of scraps. And here we are. 1, 2, and 3, 4. I had so much fun making this. Thanks ever so much for joining me. See you again next week.